Hey peeps, what's happening? It has been a hot minute, right? I'm gonna pull up your real time comments because All right, guys. Okay, so this is gonna be short today. This was really just something that was rolling through my head that I thought would be helpful to you. And so here we are. Um, nope, it's not what I'm looking for. I lost my mind, haven't I? Okay. So, how are you guys? Um, Today, I wanted to talk just a little bit about, like I said, this is something that's been rolling through my head. So I'm going to wait just a second. What is going on? Go away. Okay, I'm going to wait just a second. And before we get started, trying to get my life together. Hey, Jen. Okay, well, let's just get started. How about that? So I don't want to take very much time, but here's a couple things I want to talk about. First of all, welcome. My name's Allison Dolphy, and I'm glad that you are here. So today, I really want to spend some time chatting about, well, first of all, I'd love for you to say hi if you're watching. That would be great and helpful for me. Tell me where you're from. Catch me up. And tell me if you can hear me okay. That would also be helpful. I think we might have a little bit of a bad video, possibly, per the usual. Hi, Chrissy. I miss you so much. I'm so glad to see you virtually. Hi, Sherry. So this is a conversation I was just going to have with my team, and I thought, well, why not share with everybody? Let's just do that. So this really, hi, Amy from Tennessee. Today's conversation really comes from over a decade of summers running a business and what that looks like. I know that it's not summer yet, but it's about to be summer. And it's time now to kind of wrap your brain around what's that going to look like for me. So I just want to share very quickly a few tips that I use in prepping for summer. Hi, Allison. Hi, Amy and Cindy. Nice to see you guys. So if you think that your team might need help with, okay, how do I run a business well in the middle of the summer when my kids are home and we're traveling and life is getting back to normal, and what's that look like? And how do I still continue to do this well and manage expectations with my family? So if you think that would be helpful, feel free to share. We're going to talk today just a little bit about how do I come up with a plan that is simple, that's sustainable, and that I feel good about, because it's really important that we do our best to not get overwhelmed in the middle of the summer, because that can happen. We don't want that to happen. I want you to have a summer that's full of life and adventure and fun and hopefully like some normal life things again. But I also want your business to thrive in that season without feeling like you're overwhelmed. Cool. Okay. Hillary, it's great to see you too. I mean, I can't see you, but I can see you. Hi, Courtney. All right. So let's just dive in, because your time is valuable, my time is valuable, and I do not want to waste your time. Honestly, let's just get to the nitty gritty of it. If you're just joining us, I'm Allison Dalkey. I'm really glad that you're here. My goal, anytime I go live here, is to help you dream big, work smart, change yourself, and change the world with your business. And in full honesty, I am one of those people who is going to probably sometimes ruffle your feathers or go against the grain or challenge you a little bit. So if you're not down for any of that and you don't like being challenged, this is probably not the place for you. I love you, but I don't want to hurt your feelings either. So I have some honest things to say today, and hopefully they're helpful. The main thing we're going to talk about today is really, how do I create a plan that works for the summer for my business? And then and we're going to talk a little bit about social media. And then next week, we're going to have a really candid conversation about social media. Hi, Jen Gordon. Hi, Becky. I'm so happy to see you, Becky. I just saw the other day that this is your 10-year anniversary this month. Congratulations. That is so exciting. Been in a business for 10 years, star director, crushing the things. It's awesome. Maybe something on its way to you soon. You never know. All right, so let's talk about it. I'm gonna just tell you really quickly I'm just gonna tell you like the struggle that it's been for me. So this is my 13th summer in business, and I have had children the entire time, from babies all the way up to now, a 14-year-old going into high school next year, and a middle schooler and a kindergartner. So I have all of the range, 4 kiddos across the ranges of ages. And that can sometimes be the most challenging thing when you're running your business in the summer, right? Because now they're home from school or they're being shuffled back and forth to a million things. And I think the biggest thing that becomes challenging in the summer is that we lack routine, right? So this was kind of a little bit of last year in general. It's that there was a lot of routines that went out the window, and that can be hard. But we want to start by preparing for a successful summer, but also one that is simple, that feels good to your family. So how do we do that? So the first question that I would encourage you to ask, and so if you have paper near you, I would say this would be a great time to jot some things down. When we put things on paper, we process them differently than when we just think them. But if you're driving, please just think, okay? So the first question I want to ask you about the summer, and when I say summer, I'm thinking the time your kids are out of school. If you don't have kids, this is still incredibly relevant to you, because what happens in the summer is routines change and systems change. And that means that those things change for your family. Ooh, we got a really gross looking video happening. What's happening? Anybody else's video go cray just now? Oh, it's back. Okay, I don't know. We'll press on. But the routines change for your customers and your hosts as well. And so those are things that we want to take into consideration as we begin to prep and plan for the summer. So in my head, the summer pretty much is late May, mid-August, right? You can define what that summer looks like to you. But it's a season that is very different than any other season, and it's a season that needs to look different in your business. So first question I want you to ask is, what do you actually want this summer? So that means, what do I want in terms of goals? What do you want to achieve? What are you working towards? Are you striving towards a new goal? Are you growing towards something new? That might be a title, that might be an incentive, that might be a challenge. What's that look like? What do you want? So this is where I would really, and this is important to do now. I know it's May and you're like, it's not summer. It's coming and it's going to be here before you know it. And if we're not intentional about how we plan, it's going to sweep us off our feet. So start to think right now. We're thinking 3 months ahead right now. Y'all are going to call me crazy, but 3 months ahead right now. So what do you want? What's the goals that you want to achieve? What's the outcomes that you want? For me this summer, I have some pretty simple goals. In my personal business, I want 2,500 PRV a month and 2 new team members. That's it. So those are simple goals. I'm not getting any more flustered or, out of the box than that. And then for my business, I want to continue developing my team and developing more leaders. And so that's kind of a vague term, but in specific terms is I really want to promote 2 new leaders in the fall, which we're on pace to do. And then I want to have 4 more in the chute after that. So that's kind of the tangible part of that. Remember that anytime we're answering the question, what do you want? There needs to be something tangible behind that, meaning I need to be able to specifically tell you this is what I'm working towards. If we don't know specifically what we're working towards, we can't create a plan to get there, can we? So you can't just say, I want to sell more, or I want more customers, or that is a very vague term that means nothing, that we can't really wrap our brains around. Okay, so you set the goal. What do you want? Now that's the actual businessy part of the plan. We're not just talking business though. Okay, here's the next question I want you to process through. And again, if you can write this down, it's going to be beneficial. How do you want the summer to feel? Some of you might be thinking, how is that relevant? It's very relevant. How do you want the summer to feel? So I was kind of walking through some things I wanted for the summer for my family. I want it to be fun. I want to have a carefree-ish summer, meaning like if we want to go get ice cream at 8 o'clock, we're going to go get ice cream at 8 o'clock, right? If we want to go to the drive-in, we're going to go to the drive-in. If friends say we want to come over for pizza, friends are going to come over for pizza. Like I want a little bit of carefreeness. So that's not a normal thing in our in the other seasons of our family. In the spring and the fall and the winter, there's a little bit more structure. There's not as much carefree. So that's one of the things I want. You figure out, how do I want the summer to feel? Another thing that might be helpful to you is to maybe make a bucket list. What are some things we want to do this summer? What are some things you want to do personally? What are some things you want to do as a family? What are some things you want to do with girlfriends? Whatever that looks like. What are some things that you want to do bucket list wise? And I don't mean like big crazy things, just fun things. Maybe you want to have a water balloon fight with your kids in the front yard. Like, what are some fun things you want to do? So make those lists. How do I want the summer to feel? What are some things that we want to do? And then the other thing that I would encourage you to work through is practically look at what you have going on. So this is the thing that gets overwhelming for some people. And this is why some people's business really kind of taper in the summer. It's twofold. Like I said before, we run into a challenge sometimes with hosts and with potential new team members because their lives are not in a routine either. And so things begin to shuffle and change, right? But we want to consider what we have going on and being honest about that. That means looking at a calendar and saying, okay, what do we have going on in June? What do we have going on in July? What do we have going on in August? And what does that mean for my business and my time? So like for us, we're traveling at the end of May, the beginning of June, my daughter's going to church camp and my husband, my kiddos, my two littles are going to summer school. Like I have to put all of those things down and on paper and actually start to process, okay, what does that mean our days look like? When does that mean I have chunks of time to work my business? I'm not a very good nooks and crannies kind of business person. There are some of you that are in that season. You're in the season where your business has to be run in the nooks and crannies. And if that's you, and what I mean is like the nooks and crannies of your day, like those 10 minutes here, 20 minutes here, and that's a lot of you. If that's you, you need to consider what those nooks and crannies and those spaces are going to look like, and you want to be intentional about those things, about what you're going to do when you have 10 minutes, about what you're going to do when you have 30 minutes. When we don't have a plan, we often default to nothing or to busyness or to doing things that actually don't push your business forward. That's really the problem a lot of you are in right now, is that you say, I'm working my business, I'm doing these things, but I'm not getting the results I want. Well, the reality is what you're doing isn't actually profit generating. And you're just busy. And busyness does not always produce the best results. We're going to get in, I'm going to challenge you in a little bit about what needs to go away. You're not going to like it very much, but it's a conversation that needs to be had. So it's something I want you to start kind of rolling through your brain right now. Okay, so what do you actually have going on? We've talked about what do you want to achieve in the summer? How do you want the summer to feel? What are some fun and bucket listy things that you want to do? And what do you already have planned? What's already on the schedule? What's already going on in the summer? Okay, all of those things are things we need to look at. Okay, this is the reality of where we're at. Now that we have the goal, this is what I want to achieve. This is the outcome I want. We have to work backwards and say, okay, if that's the outcome I want, how do I get it? Okay, how do I get to 2,500 PRV every month? How do I get to 2 new team members every month? That's going to look different for all of you based on where you are in your season. And that's okay. Right now, for me, that is booking parties off of parties, hosts that are encouraging other hosts to host. That's how my list is growing right now. That's how my team is growing right now. It's one-on-one conversations. I'm actually going to do some back to basic, like here in Oklahoma, we are pretty much open. We're open. My kids have been in school all year, well, since the fall, 4 days a week. We're doing the things. So I actually just did a survey for my customers a couple weeks ago, and actually had a lot of them say, I really miss in-home stuff. And so I'm scheduling some fun things like that, and not just super focused on sales, but also just focused on relationship. At the end of the day, relationships are what move and drive this business forward. It's relationships that encourage team members to come onto your team. It's relationships that get people to say, oh, I love this person and what they're doing. If you ever need this, go to them, right? Relationships are the foundation of this business. And we have to be careful that we're intentionally stewarding those relationships in a way that's meaningful, and not focused solely on profit. Does that make sense? Okay. So once you have the goal, we have to go, how am I going to get to the goal? How am I going to get to the outcome? Make those plans now and look at that. You need to look at what's going on. There is a week. Well, there's 2 weeks at the end of this month when I'm not working. There's also, like, I'm looking at SFR, and we're doing a retreat here that week for our team, and we have some fun things planned. And I know that I need to make sure that that space is carved out. And that means I have to intentionally plan the other 3 weeks in the month of July, right? On top of everything that's going around. So having a successful summer and having the consistency in the summer that you really need to sustain your business in the fall, that sets up for a really great harvest in the fall, comes from being intentional about how you're spending your time and how you're structuring your days. So honestly, for me, a lot of the summer will mean I'm getting up early to work my business because I want to be able to go to the pool, because I want to be able to have a water balloon fight. Some of you, the summer may look different. You may have kids not at home. You may be grinding through the summer. Like, I don't know what that looks like for you, but you've got to be intentional about how you want it to look and when you're going to put in the time and effort in your business. Okay. Okay. Here's my, this is probably my two biggest tips for the summer. As you start to make your list of, here's how I'm going to get to the goal, right? We need to look at two types of tasks on your lists. You need non-negotiables, which those are the things that have to happen. These are the things that have to happen for my business to continue to be profitable, for me to continue to steward well what I've been given. And then we need optional tasks. Okay. I'm going to push to say that I don't know if I want to say most. Well, I'm going to say most. Most of the things that are probably on your business to-do list are optional. Remember earlier we were talking about busyness and you saying you're working your business, but you're not getting the results you want. It's because you're spending your time on things that are not profit generating and are not actually moving the needle. And you have to stop. Honestly, it's just a waste of your time and it's a waste of other people's time. So if you're in a place where you're frustrated with your business because it's not moving the way that you want it to, it's probably time that you looked at what you're doing and asked yourself, is this the best way? Is there a better way? Am I getting the outcome that I want? If you're continuing to do something and not getting the outcome you want, you have to ask, is this actually working? Is this actually worth it? Right? Because we do not want to spend our days doing something that is not generating outcome. Okay? Yes, there is a season for I'm going to try something. Yes, there is a season for I'm going to grow into doing something better. I'm going to learn something. There's seasons for all of that. But I just really strongly want to challenge you right now. If you're continuing to do something that is not working, you have to ask yourself if it's worth your time and your energy. Here's the deal. Some of you you really probably, it's time to stop playing around. Some of you have played and toyed and done a little bit here and done a little bit there. Here's the deal. If you're feeling like this business is not what you want it to be, I would challenge you and say that maybe it's because you're not doing the things that you should be doing. I'll be honest, the things that it takes to actually run this business and make it successful are not easy. They're about people, and people are messy, and people are unkind sometimes, and sometimes people are super kind, and sometimes people are life-giving, but this business is about people. And if you have sat and avoided the truth about the reality that I have to go and be with people wherever that is, that's probably why you're spinning your wheels. It's probably why you're frustrated. It's probably why you're not where you want to be. Okay? So look at what you're doing. Here's the other thing I would say. If you're not getting the results you want, again, we have to look at the task and say, is it worth it? Or am I not doing it well? Honestly, a lot of you, there's probably a word issue. So this is something we coach and work through on my team constantly. What are you saying to people? How are you using your words? What is the message that you're sending? How does it come across? How does it make people feel? The easiest thing to do is to default to sales, default to pitchy, default to that. And it's the reason that direct sales gets the rap it gets is because you're showing up in people's DMs, or wherever with this very salesy type of wording with an ulterior motive. And I promise you that ulterior motives don't ever work. And so what I'm saying is, back to the people thing, it's all about people. It's all about how we actually care for and love people. And so when we go into a relationship or we go into something saying, this is what I want from this person, that comes across in our words. And that's why sometimes we turn people away. And that's why some people don't respond. And that's why some people, whatever. But when we can go into a conversation and say, what can I give to this person? What can I offer? What value can I bring to their lives? Everything changes. So much of the success that we have or we don't have is centered around our heart posture and how we're approaching people. Are we going towards them because we want something from them? Or are we going towards them because we want to give them something? Because we want to offer value and bring value to their lives? That's really what this boils down to, is that if you want the relationships in your life and in your business to move forward, we have to take the posture of, how can I give? What can I bring? What value can I offer? How can I continue to enrich this person's life? Does that make sense? So that's one. I didn't plan on talking about this, but that's one of the things that I would really push you towards, is looking at, what posture am I approaching people with? Is it a what can I get from them? What can I get them to give me? What do I want from them? Or is it, what do I want to give them? How do I want to approach them? How do I want to add value to their life? It may not be. It may not be. It may not end up being about your business at all. It may be something else. It may just be a mom and a mama having a great conversation. It may be something totally unrelated. And that's okay, because we're focused on people first. And when we focus on people first, then everything else falls into place. So I would really, really encourage you to say, as you're looking, what I just said didn't make sense. It's fine. Don't go backwards. Just go forwards. Live is entertaining sometimes. I would encourage you, as you're looking at the outcomes you want for your business, and not even just your business, but your summer in general. How do you want your summer to look and feel? Because here's what I need in my life. I need a summer that's life-giving. We all need a summer that's life-giving. But the reality is, that's not going to happen on accident. Okay? Because two things will happen. One, you won't plan well for your business. And maybe you will be carefree and have an amazing time with your family, but then you're going to feel shame and guilt over what you didn't do in your business. Maybe it's the other way, and you're going to push forward with your business, but you're not going to plan well to manage how you're going to love and care for and nurture and be carefree and fun with your family. And then you're going to feel guilty about that. So if we want life giving in our business, in our life, we have to start with intention. We have to start with, what do I want? How do I go towards that? And how do I do that in a way that honors both my business and my family? Listen, this may mean that your goals shift in the summer. It may mean that your expectation of what you want changes in the summer, of what you're moving towards. Maybe it looks different. There is a season for every part of your business, just like seasons of summer, winter, fall. Your business needs to mold and shift to change into those seasons, and that's okay. I'm giving you permission right now to say if it needs to look different, it needs to look different. Okay? But what I don't want you to do is walk away from the summer feeling guilt or shame about one of the things that you didn't steward well. Well, guess what? When we start with the right intention and we line out our expectations, this is my expectation. This is what I want to achieve in my business. This is how I want my family to feel. These are the fun and exciting things I want us to experience. When you do that, and then you move towards those things daily, right? With daily steps, daily goals, then we get to the end of summer and we feel good about what we did. We look back fondly and celebrate all that it was and all that that season was, as opposed to feeling like you were drowning. Nobody wants to drown in the summer, okay? Nobody wants to drown anytime. But listen, I want to lay out in the pool. I don't want to feel like I'm sinking, okay? I would rather float through the summer. I really love to float, you guys. Like, it's my favorite thing. I love floating on a raft. So if you want to come, if I can come to your pool and float, I would love that. I will work that into my plan. So that's really my two biggest tips. Have non-negotiables and then have optional tasks. And those optional tasks need to actually be optional tasks. They need to be things that, and maybe these are things that in the winter and the fall, when you're really like working and, you know, you have more time or whatever, that maybe those things aren't optional in another season. But I'm telling you, there are things that can be optional right now. And so, and a lot of times I would say that needs to start. Like when you're like, well, I don't know what's optional. What's the thing that's overwhelming you right now? What's the thing that you're dreading doing? What's the thing that always gets pushed to the back burner? That thing may need to be optional this summer. Or it may need to be it may need to look different. Let's say that you love sending mail to your team, but the thought of sending mail to your team in the summer overwhelms you because your kids are all going to be home or you're traveling or whatever. Maybe it doesn't need to be optional. Maybe it just needs to look different. Maybe recognition is a text and a Starbucks gift card and a congrats on being in our top 10. Okay. Same thing for your hosts. Same thing for your customer who wins a prize at your party. I don't know. Maybe it just needs to look different. Sometimes we get so caught up with the things that we are overwhelmed with, the things that are stalling us out, the things that we feel like, gosh, I have to do that thing and I don't want to do that thing. And granted, there are just some things that we feel like that about, and that's okay. But maybe some of those things just need to look different. And I want to challenge you to say they need to look different. Here's the other thing, and no one, I don't think you're going to like this. Did I freeze? Maybe I froze. I don't know. Maybe that's just my phone. Did I freeze for y'all? No? Yes? I don't know what's happening. I should press on. Okay. We're going to press on. So, what needs to be optional? And what are your non-negotiables? I would start there. The other thing that I would really strongly suggest you do is have a conversation. If you are married, if you have a significant other, even your older kids, the expectations for the summer, not just for your business, but for your family. What needs to change there? What routines do we need, or what routines do we need to let go of? And where do we need to be a little more flexible? And where do we need to stay the course, right? I'm just hoping my phone's okay, great. Thanks, Becky. I'm like, it's frozen on my phone, but whatever. So I would talk expectations with the people in your life that your time influences. Expectations are huge, and they can kind of make or break. So talk about, like, this is my intention for the time I want to spend it in my business. And here's the thing: I think when you put boundaries on your business and you say, like, these are the things that are non-negotiable for me, and these are the things that this is really like the time that I would like to spend on my business. When you put those boundaries around and you voice those boundaries to your significant other, to your kids, it holds you accountable to do good work when you're working. Because I don't know about you, but I can very easily slip into working, but not doing things that are income producing. So it's often the boundary that we need to say, no, this is how much time I'm going to work. This is when I'm going to work, whatever it looks like. And sharing those things with the people around you, that actually makes your business more fruitful, more effective, more efficient, because you have to make hard decisions about what you're going to spend your time on and what you're not. Okay. Okay. Last thing I want to barely dip my toe into, and we're going to talk way more about this next week, is social media. I'm on it right now. Here's the thing. I just want to bring up the conversation that I think we need to be careful. Whether you are consuming or contributing on social media, I think that we have to be really careful that that consumption doesn't produce comparison or envy, jealousy, bitterness, any of those things. And that our contribution doesn't produce pride or a false sense of affirmation. So I'm saying this from a place of, I've been on both sides of the coin. And you guys know I am currently really not on social media. Like, there's a couple groups to check, but I do not scroll, and I am not contributing right now, in full honesty, except for this, which is different or the same. I'm not sure. But I think it is when we talk about heart posture, I think it's something that we all have to be careful of. Right now, I am seeing it stall out a lot of people because you're watching other people run their business, and there's a bit of comparison that happens. And then there's also this sense of, oh, she's doing that, so I should. You really have to be careful anytime we say the word should, because something that's right for her does not mean it's right for you. Okay. It is okay to know what a no for you and what is a yes. So be careful of your consumption and your contribution. The contribution piece for me was that, and I had a conversation with a friend about this morning, and she shared the same sentiment. And so it feels good to know you're not alone. But we were talking about how I got to a place where what I was contributing on social media, the words I was writing, the things I was sharing, the things I was posting, it became a false sense of idolatry. It became idolatry for me because I was creating content and then looking for approval. I was writing something and waiting for someone to tell me it was good. I was doing something cool and waiting for affirmation from other people. And friends, I just want to tell you, like, it's no way to live. The affirmation from everybody else will continually, day after day, continue to not measure up. It is a cycle of sin, essentially, that is like being on a hamster wheel, where you get a little bit of affirmation and then you need more. And then you get a little bit more affirmation and then you need more. It's something I'm wrestling with right now and trying to figure out, how do I be in the world and not of the world? And how do I contribute And how do I build differently? That's really been a call, I think, on my heart is I want to steward the business we've been given well, and I want to do it excellently. And I want to do it in a way that other people can replicate, but I also don't want to sell my soul for it. And I do not want to become overcome with the addiction of consuming or contributing. And I think both can be equal addiction. So that is just, I just told you I was going to dip my toe in. So next week, I'm going to show up again, and I actually want to really have a conversation about social media. So I would really, honestly, I would love if anything that I just said about that kind of ring true with you, I would love to know. It's a conversation I want to continue, and I'd really like it to be more of a conversation. Like, maybe even bring a couple of you on camera and talk through what does it look like? What's the struggle for you? How do we continue to grow businesses that are replicable while doing it in a way that is healthy, that has clear boundaries around it? Because I just don't know anyone who hasn't struggled in some way with social media. And so I think it's a conversation we need to have. I think it's something we need to talk more about. I'm not saying you should get off. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that I think we need to have these conversations and be conscious of what we're doing and what we're asking other people to do, honestly. And I get it. Like there's a video on here that talks about how you can create content that becomes valuable to other people and like creates a following. Listen, I've been on both sides of the coin. So I'm not saying I have the answers. It's just a conversation that I'd love to have. So I would say message me, but listen, I don't check my messages. I don't know if that's good or bad. If I've ever texted you, you can respond to my text, if you're on the text list. I did not send a text today letting you know that we were going live, but I thought, why not? So anyways, I love you guys. I hope this was helpful. The conversation I want to continue for sure about social media and just what that looks like moving forward. Yeah. So I hope this was helpful. I'm going to stop like stalling out now and just let you guys go. I really hope that you take the time to sit down and create a plan for the summer. Remember, start with what you want, what the goal is in your business. How do you want to feel? What fun things do you want to do? And then what do you have on your calendar already? And then also have those conversations about expectation with people around you. It's really important and it matters. And it can be the thing that makes or breaks how the summer goes and how you feel about it when it's all over. The other thing is, what are the non-negotiable tasks that need to get done no matter what? And what are the things that probably you need to let go of or need to be optional in this season? It is okay for your business to look different in a different season. Okay. It doesn't always have to be a hustle. It doesn't always have to be, it actually never has to be a hustle. I'm not going to lie. Never has to be a hustle. You don't always have to strive. Okay. It's okay for there to be different seasons. I'm giving you permission for that. So next week, I don't have my calendar in front of me. Oh, yes, I do. Hold on. I'll just tell you. I can't remember what day I said, but if you're watching and you want to know, I'm going to be live next week. Hold on. Wednesday at noon Central Time. So it's the last time I'm going to be live this month, and then there'll be some dates in June and July. And we're just going to have an honest conversation about social media. So if it's something you want to talk through and wrestle through and just hear some different perspectives on, I would love to have you join us live at 12 o'clock Central Time next Wednesday, May 12th. So hope you have a great weekend. I hope you have a great end to your week and a great Mother's Day if you are a mama. So thanks again for joining me, and I'll talk to you guys next week. Bye. Well, hi, YouTube. Now we're leaving.